All right. Hey, everyone. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Oh, enlarge this. All right. Awesome. It's 2 minutes after. All right. And let me just pull this screen up. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Cool. So I'll just go ahead and get started. It's just 2 minutes after 7. So this is Money Talks with Michelle Hung. That's me right here. Just in case you didn't know where you are and what's happening, happens to me. Every day seems to be like a Saturday for me the last couple of months. So I know it's been pretty rough with everything that's happening. Our work and school lives are just, it's been very different, and people are impacted in various ways. I'd say a bit more negative than positive, especially around mental health and financial health. So today I'll be speaking to you about money and financial wellness. So just a few housekeeping items. First off, feel free to use the chat on the right-hand side. So give me a shout. Like, let me know what you're studying and what term you're in. Are you in like 2B? Are you studying math or engineering? Let me know. Okay. Feel free to use that chat throughout the this training. And then, of course, there's an ask a question thingy. A box to ask a question. So it kind of filters out the questions from the workshop throughout. So I'll do Q&A at the end of the training this evening. International development. All right. Hey, Nicole. This is amazing. Okay. Yeah, feel free to just like give me a shout out. Let me know what you're studying. I wanna know who I'm talking to. So and then I also have some materials for you after the presentation. Okay, so there's going to be a workbook and a budget sheet you can work with afterwards. I'll be showing you an example of how to use it this evening. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to enlarge this screen right here. Focus on that. Okay, there you go. Excellent. Okay, let me just close that. All right. So the last occurrence of something, of this magnitude that severely impacted our economy was, back in 2008, right, during the global recession. Okay, so that was when I graduated, okay, at the peak of the Great Recession. And even with co-op experience, okay, 2 years worth of work experience, it was one hell of a time for me to find a full-time job, okay? The positive thing about today is, the government has been providing students wage subsidies for employers, and even student benefits, CESB. Okay, so back then, we never had a stimulus package for students. However, there are less jobs for students now. We all recognize that. If you're looking for a job during like even co-op, or if you're about to graduate, I feel you. I feel the pain, and I totally understand that struggle. And back then, at one point, I was just so broke and just so jobless. I was actually, I considered partaking in one of those pharmaceutical studies, okay, that paid a lot. I think one of them was going to pay maybe, I don't know, $6,000. And, that's a huge chunk of change now, and even back then, right? But luckily, my boyfriend at the time talked some sense into me. And at the end, I never ended up doing it, right? Because, like, let's just think about it. For $6,000, what am I trading off? Am I going to grow an extra toe or something? Whatever it is, like I was 22 years old, 23 years old. I recognize there's no amount of money in the world that's ever worth compromising your health for. Okay, you cannot buy good health, and keep in mind, health is wealth. So back then, a combination of poor money management because this training wasn't available. I had a bit of an entitled bratty attitude, and unemployment left me with a lot of debt. Okay, so I was moving money around from, my line of credit to pay my credit card bills. It was terrible. Okay, I was really stressed, and I also thought that I was kind of too good for just any job, because I thought I had great work experience. I was in investment banking. So I had the mentality that if I worked anywhere else, I would just forego my chances of ever developing a career on Bay Street in finance. Okay, that is not the case. Okay, eventually I went out, push came to shove. I was like, no, I need to work. Okay, I got a minimum wage job working admin for the provincial government. I wasn't thrilled about it, but it paid the bills. And in the meantime, I put my head down. I continued to apply for jobs. I went to work. I studied for my level 1 CFA exam. I got healthy, and eventually everything fell into place. Okay, I received 2 offers on Bay Street, and I took the one where I did my previous co-op placements with, and I chose investment banking, and I ended up staying there for just about over 6 years. Okay, the biggest change was my attitude. Okay, and the 2 things. Okay, I learned 2 things. I'm never getting into debt again, and no job is ever beneath me. Okay, especially when I have to make ends meet. Okay, the hustle is real. Financial stress really takes a toll on you. Okay, so one of the things I wish I had learned back then was budgeting and managing my money, because I got caught up trying to be a big girl and adulting. I was playing around with credit cards and spending like I was a hotshot. Okay, and it does get to you when you first get your, above minimum wage job. Okay, so needless to say, I made a lot of money mistakes as a student, and so now I'm here to help you not make any of those mistakes. Can't say any, like we all make mistakes, right? Just trying to help you make less mistakes. Okay, so this evening, we're going to be creating your budget for the fall term. Okay, this can be applied for the whole year or on a quarterly basis, but since students live on a term-by-term basis, especially here at Waterloo, we'll go with that. So before we get started, a little bit more about my background. So I am Michelle Hung. I am the founder and author of the self-titled book, The Sassy Investor. I graduated from UW with a math degree majoring in finance. I've lived and breathed finance for over 10 years now, starting in investment banking, and then venture capital, and now personal finances and financial education. I am also a CFA charter holder. CFA is the Chartered Financial Analyst designation. It is a globally recognized investment management designation. And of course, I am a sassy investor. And my mission is to empower as many people as possible to become financially independent and to show them how to build a lifetime of wealth so they stop worrying about their finances. So today, on today's agenda, we are going to be talking about how to create a budget, okay, or a spend plan, I like to call it, okay, budgeting basics. I'm going to walk you through how to build one for fall. And then again, once you learn how to do that, you can apply that to your other terms and even afterwards when you graduate as well. Okay, we're going to talk about good habits. Any goal you want to achieve, whether it's fitness, academic, or financial goal, it's all about habits. Okay, and then we're going to talk about protecting yourself. Okay, there are a lot of scams out there and they're getting more and more sophisticated. So it's very important to know how to protect yourself. And lastly, we're going to cover off the importance of credit. And all of these things contribute to your financial well-being. Okay, we're going to keep it simple today. School is hard enough as it is, but these are very important skills that you will need going forward. Because as of late, okay, so I'm going to throw some stats up here for you. According to a recent Scotia Bank poll, okay, among those in the 18 to 34-year-old group, okay, 71% find it challenging to save, invest, and pay down their debt. Okay, and they spend on average 2.4 hours a day worrying about their finances. Okay, that's a huge chunk of your day worrying about your finances. Okay, life is too short and we all have a lot of things to do. So to have that being spent on worrying about your finances, okay, that is just crazy. Okay, and these numbers, okay, this was published pre-pandemic. So I can only imagine these worries and stresses have increased since this was released. Okay, so the good thing about everyone here is that you're young. Okay, you can develop good money habits early on in life so you can get ahead financially and, of course, not make the same mistakes I made when I was your age. But also, more importantly, so you don't end up like one of these statistics. Okay, you don't end up as one of these statistics. So what is budgeting about? Okay, so budgeting isn't just about numbers. Numbers are easy to deal with, okay? If you can make money and spend money, it's easy to deal with, okay? You don't need a math degree for that, trust me. It's about paying off debt in the most efficient way as possible, okay? You're gonna learn that as you graduate with, student debt, okay? You're gonna want to pay that down as soon as possible. It's about not carrying stress while you're working or studying, okay? The number one stress for students is academics. Okay, number two is money. We want to make sure, in addition to academic stresses that we all naturally endure as a student, okay, we don't add to that. Okay, I don't feel like it's fair. As a student, your job is to be a student. Okay, so taking control of that area will certainly be beneficial for your mental health as well. Okay. Like I said, everyone in here is young and you want to be able to, make smart financial decisions, not detrimental mistakes. Okay, everything that you're going to learn right here today, you will carry on with you later on in life. Okay, so again, learning it now will help you get ahead. In 10 years, you will be very grateful that you tuned in tonight. So what is a budget? Okay, what is it exactly? Well, a budget is a logical system that just helps you organize your expenses relative to your income. Okay, so your thinking brain is at work here. Okay, we generally operate with two sides of the brain. Okay, thinking brain and the emotional side of your brain. Okay, or we'll call it emo brain. Okay, when you're spending money, we spend based on emotions. Okay, emo brain controls that. Okay, so thinking brain and emo brain don't get along. Okay, because emo brain is crazy. Okay, she does whatever she wants to the extent, logical brain can reason with her. Logical brain is a part of you that's like, this is bad. You are going to regret this. You shouldn't be doing this because there will be consequences. And in the meantime, emo brain is like, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to listen to you. I just want to do whatever I want. Okay. So things like, I'm too tired to cook. Okay. I'm going to order in. I'm going to eat out. It's too cold to walk. I'd rather take an Uber. I don't want to wait for the bus. Okay. If you let emo brain do whatever she wants, whenever she wants, okay, you can easily blow your money away in a heartbeat. Okay, so that's why you need logical brain, but also a logical system there to help you reason with emo brain and to help you find that balance. Okay, there's a reason why a lot of budgets fail. It's because if you've ever seen a budget out there, it doesn't factor in emo brain. Okay, which is really the driver in everything. It drives us to take action, and it also it's a part of the brain that makes us care about stuff in life. So, just a few steps to create your budget or your spend plan. Okay, so step one is to write down all your income sources and estimated amounts. Okay, the second step is to write down all your fixed expenses, and the third one, estimate budget for your variable expenses. Okay, and then after that, maintain good habits. So step one, okay, gathering your sources of income. When you're preparing whether it's your annual budget or your budget for the fall, okay, ask yourself, write it down. Okay, and I do have a worksheet for you. Where is your money coming from? Okay, is it student loans? Are you getting CSB? Are you working a co-op position right now? Do you have a part-time job? Do you have family contribution? Okay, do you have an RESP? Okay, or are you getting like some bursaries or scholarships? Write it all down, everything that's going to be contributing to your fall program, your fall academic program. Sorry, I hear the ice cream truck. A little bit distracting. Okay, anyways. So the second step, okay. So with regards to expenses, we are going to split them up into fixed expenses and variable expenses, okay. So fixed expenses are just that, they're fixed, okay. They automatically come out of your checkings account, okay, or it gets charged to your credit card automatically, okay. They're recurring, they're fixed, okay. It doesn't matter what you're feeling that day. If it's September 1st, November 1st, you are paying rent, okay, whether you want to or not, okay. That money is being siphoned out of your checkings account. Emo brain has no say in this at the moment, okay. So things like your tuition, you have to pay your tuition if you're going to study, okay, your rent, utilities, phone, internet, transportation, your books, car insurance, rental, tenant insurance, home insurance, okay, even like subscriptions you have. Maybe you have a gym membership or something, right? So these are recurring, they're fixed, okay? These, again, emo brain has no say in these. A lot of these things are pretty essential. Okay, and notice how I have savings and emergency / emergency fund / goals here. Okay, when we're talking about saving money, building an emergency fund, going for trying to achieve financial goals, okay, the key is prioritizing it in the same category as basically your rent. Okay, you have to make it just as important. So what kind of, what other goals are there? Okay, besides, you know, saving, just having a savings fund. Okay, so what else can you put up there? Well, you know, if you treat your savings or financial goals as important as your rent, okay, you will ensure that you meet your goals. So things like, you know, a graduation trip, okay, paying off student debt fast. If you want to make that a priority, okay, you have to prioritize it as high as your rent. Okay, maybe you're saving money for a car purchase or maybe a down payment on a home. Okay, because just as sure that you pay your rent, if you set something up where you automatically put money, like say from your checkings account where you get paid, and divert it to a savings account or an account that stores the money for your goals, okay, you are just as sure as being able to meet that goal as it is when you pay your rent. Okay, so that is the key to saving. A lot of people, I'll tell you that a lot of people have a hard time saving money because they leave it last. They're like, okay, well, I have to, you know, pay all these fixed expenses first, of course, rent, utilities, phone, and then, you know, they have to eat and they have to go out, they have to do this, they have to buy this, they buy that. And then before you know it, there is nothing left for savings. Okay, so the key is to prioritize it as high as your rent. And before I get into variable expenses, okay, I just want to make sure to let you know, communicate to you that you need to have a savings, an emergency savings fund. Okay, even as a student, I know that yes, like you may be penny pinching, everything is like so tight right now, but you have to make sure you have something safe. Okay, just in case certain things happen, like, you know, maybe you get bed bugs, okay, or like the furnace breaks in the middle of February and you have to go live somewhere else for a bit. Okay, like things can happen, hence it's called an emergency fund. Okay, and again, that money is strictly for emergencies. Okay, not for bars, not for partying, not for trips. It's strictly for emergencies. So the third step, estimating variable expenses. Okay, so these are your everyday expenditures that vary. Okay, so They are things like food, going out, entertainment, toiletries, Uber rides. If you go to Shoppers, if you go to Walmart, okay, they're less predictable, okay, unless you live an incredibly boring life, okay, but even so, okay, price changes, things go on sale, okay, these will be different on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, okay, that's why they're called variable expenses, because on a daily basis, weekly, monthly, seasonal basis, they are different. And these are expenses that are very much driven by emo brain, okay? You're gonna have periods throughout the term that are different. Okay, during midterms and final exams, you'll feel like, oh, you don't have enough time, versus at the very beginning of a term where you feel like you have all the time in the world. Okay, best time to go out and go to bars, right? Okay, maybe that'll last a good, 4 days, and then the schoolwork starts to pile on again. Okay, and again, there will be times where you're like, I don't feel like cooking, I'm gonna get takeout, it's too cold, it's too late, I'm gonna take an Uber. Okay, all of these things will make us feel better. Okay, this is trading in time for convenience. It has a cost, okay? And I hate to break it to you, but as a student, you're gonna be inconvenienced, okay? Because you don't have the luxury of trading in money for time, okay? Unless you have a nice, big, fat trust fund or something. Okay, I certainly didn't, and I think most students don't have that. So you're gonna have to, make a little bit of sacrifices. Okay, again, these are very much driven by by emo brain. They're not predictable. Most people underestimate what they spend. Okay, so having a budget, creating a budget will help you manage this. And I'm gonna show you an easy way to do that right now. So you're gonna get this workbook as well. So zoom out here. Okay. So step one, okay, so you're gonna write all your income sources down. Okay, so here's a blank template that is included, but here is one with an example. Okay, so let's just say for your income sources, you're gonna fill this out. There's an Excel sheet that I'm gonna give to you as well. Okay, so you can fill it out in Excel, or if you want to print this out and write it down, that's cool too. Whatever works for you. Okay, so where are you getting your money from for the fall term? Okay, maybe OSAP. Okay, maybe you worked co-op, you have some savings. Okay, family support, scholarship, bursary, or whatever. Maybe some grants. Maybe the government. You took some CSB. Okay, add it all up. What do you get? Okay, so let's just say in this example, it adds up to $11,000 for the fall, for this starting in September. Okay, now second step is to write down all your fixed expenses. Okay, so if you are renting, how much is your monthly rent if you're subletting? Okay, so for the term, for 4 months, it's $2,000. If you're not renting, since everything is moved online, I guess it is certainly a financial benefit to not have to pay rent, and you get to just stay at home to study. Okay, so save that money. But for some of you may not be able to have that option. You will have to pay rent. Okay, and that includes utilities, internet, phone, all these expenses. If you'll know your monthly cost, estimate it, times it by 4. Okay, so for the for the winter, I should say fall, sorry. For the fall term, let's just say all your fixed expenses add up to $9,190. Okay, so what's left for variable spending? Okay, $1,810. And then that works out to, on a monthly basis, $453. And if there are 18 weeks in the term, okay, dividing this by 1810 by 18 weeks, that's around $100 a week. Okay, so depending on how you are, how organized you are, if you like to allocate your money towards certain things in a way that's similar to this, let's just say you like to allocate $50, you want to allocate $50 a week towards food, $20 a week on going out, $10 on Lyft, and so on and so on. Okay, if you want to organize it like this, that's cool too. Okay, you can write it down in your agenda or keep track of it on your phone. Okay. But if you're like, that's a little bit too much work, too much brain power, I don't want to deal with that, certainly not while I'm studying, that's cool too. Okay, just treat this $100 a week like a weekly allowance. Okay, so remember when you had an allowance when you were younger, maybe as a teenager or even younger than that, parents gave you $10 a week. They're like, here, do whatever you want with it. But if you blow it all, if you spend it all, that's it. We're not giving you anything more. Okay, there were no credit cards, no debit cards, none of that. Okay, you got your weekly allowance and that's it. Okay, so same idea. Treat this $100 a week like your weekly allowance. Okay, and then you don't have to worry about whether you're allocating money for this and that. If you want to eat at McDonald's every single day, that's cool too. If you want to cook at home every day, that's cool too. Okay, just don't go over that amount. Okay, and the beauty is you've already established where the rest of your money is going towards. Okay, that includes savings right here. Okay, your rent is covered, has been spoken for, utilities, phone, internet, all that has been allocated. And then at the same time, you're just like, okay, just don't go over $100. Okay, it is a much easier way to budget. And it also kind of tricks emo brain into thinking, hey, I could do whatever I want. So sometimes I call it freedom within a budget, right? Because if you tell yourself, hey, I could do whatever I want, just don't go over. That's the only restriction. Okay, it really helps with not feeling like you're so restrictive, and it certainly helps with the organization as well of your finances. So you will get a copy of this workbook after. Let's go over here. Are there any budgeting apps you would recommend using? Yes, I will get into that. Right now. So good habits, okay? Adjust and tweak as needed. Okay, a budget is not like a one and done. It's like, okay, I did it, it's fine. No, okay? Make sure you can live with it. Okay, tweak it as you go along. Okay, make sure it's not like overly extreme, that it's causing you stress, that you feel so cornered. Okay, because again, you want to create good habits. Okay, you don't want to resent your life, but you have to make sure that you can live with it. It's well below your means, and at the same time, making sure that you don't feel like you're suffocating. Okay, now for some people, given the circumstances of our economy, with COVID, lack of jobs, and ultimately, I get it, like their income sources have decreased. Okay. And so when you create your budget, okay, maybe your income has decreased, okay, what ends up happening now, what you have to do now is you have to prioritize your essential items first. Okay, what is the most important? Okay, so shelter, eating, tuition. Okay, make a list of the most important items and then rank them. Okay, so that's how you get through with working with a really tight, income source. Okay. And then, of course, keep track of your weekly spending. Okay. If you want to, allocate your money on a weekly basis, like how much goes towards food, how much goes towards, buying toilet paper and stuff like that. Okay. If you want to keep super organized like that, that's cool too, right? Keeping track of what you spend is really important because one, you train yourself to get used to what it is that you're working with. You're going to know, and you're going to feel what it's like to spend $100 a week. Okay, because I'll tell you, if you don't keep track, these items, okay, like spending $3 here and there, $5, $8, $10, $20 here and there can add up to a lot of money, even though if it may not feel like it, but once you write it all down, whether you log into your account and you look at those numbers, it adds up to a lot. So by keeping track, writing it down, knowing what it is that you're spending your money on, you know what it feels like to be spending $100. And naturally, there could be weeks where you don't even need to write them down anymore. You just know what it feels like. So you can, again, you can also use apps, okay? Apps like Meet Clio, that's a fun one. I've done some work with them as one of their influencers. So they target 18 to 24-year-olds. It's an AI-driven financial app, budgeting app. It's super fun. They have features like, you get roasted, but they've also been very supportive. So I enjoy using it. I use it as well. There's YNAB, that's been around. You need a budget. Spending tracker, good budget. So these are some apps you can explore. They're free. Some of them you can pay for increased for more features. Okay, and one of the things that you can keep in mind, like a tip for a good spending habit, is think about how you feel, okay, before you make that purchase. Okay, so if you're eyeing something on Amazon, or like a sweater or something, or shoes, okay, set a rule aside where, for example, if something costs more than $30, you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to sleep on it before making that purchase. Okay, and the next day, if you've forgotten about it, okay, it just completely didn't cross your mind, then perhaps you didn't really need it to begin with. Okay, but of course, if you wake up and you're like, oh, I really, really want that, I want, like, you just like really want it, then you can make that purchase, right? But this is also this is a good way for you to be really conscious of what it is that you're spending your money on, and then asking yourself how you feel about it will just, if you say, well, I don't really need it, I could do without, then you have your answer there. Okay, our wants are unlimited, right? So this is one way for you to help prioritize what it is that, of course, what you need, but also what it is that you really want, and you're just like, nah, okay, because that ends up being a waste of money, but also just like a bad habit. So live like a student, okay? Avoid credit card debt by all means. Okay, so credit cards have really high interest rates, so if you are carrying a balance, that is, you use your credit card, you swipe, and then you don't pay it off at the end of the month, okay, you are paying more than the sticker price of whatever it is that you are buying. Okay, so let's just say you decided, I'm going to take a $1,200 trip to Cancun. Okay, but you don't have the cash right now. You're just going to stick it on your credit card and pay for it later. Okay, it's not costing you $1,200. It's costing you more because there are interest costs for carrying that balance. You get penalized for the buy now, pay later. Okay, so it's very important. If you don't pay off your balance each month, whatever it is that you're paying for, you may think, oh, there's a sale, this is a good deal. It ends up not being a good deal because you're paying interest for it. You're paying for it later. And it's a very easy trap to get into, okay? Because we all love, like, we want instant gratification, we want everything right now, okay? But I can guarantee you that will take you down a very stressful path if you fall into that trap. You don't want that. Get a part-time job, side hustle if you need to, okay? To increase your income sources, especially if you feel like it's not sufficient for your term. Again, try to avoid credit card debt by all means. Okay, remember, it's being a student. Okay, it's temporary. In a blink of an eye, before you know it, you are done school. Okay, you will get to enjoy the fruits of your labor as you get older. Okay, and you will not graduate. You will not regret graduating with minimal debt. Okay, this is what will get you ahead in life. I know a lot of my peers from, like, within math and outside of math and engineering, like, we were all in co-op. They were really good with their money, and they had co-op jobs. They graduated. They were the ones that were able to come out with very minimal to no student debt. And they were the ones that were able to, get their condos first, get their cars, to make those bigger purchases in life. They were able to kind of get a little bit ahead of their peers. Okay, so minimal debt will definitely help you get ahead in life. And of course, it'll help you get started in investing much faster. And that'll for sure lead you down to building your wealth faster. So now I want to, okay, actually I have, before I do that, one question. So do you recommend using cash for variable expenses to keep track? Using cash. Yes, if you want to, it's the cash envelope method. If you want to withdraw $100 every week, let's just say on Sunday, and then, you know, keep it in your wallet, maybe don't, maybe like $20 a day kind of thing. You can do that as well, okay? Because that will certainly ensure that you're not racking up credit card debt and that you are for sure spending within your $100 weekly allowance or budget. Okay, so cash is, it's really, using cash is it's desirable, okay? But more so than debit card, because if you're, you know, if you have a lot of money in your savings account, you can again easily go through that thinking that you have a lot of money in your account. Okay, so cash is really like, just ensures you that you are spending within your budget. So if that works for you, you can totally do that. Another tip I have for you is, if you're always shopping at, let's just say, Zehrs, okay, you know for sure you're going to Zehrs, you can also buy a gift card at Zehrs and use that instead of carrying cash. Because, you know, if you, I know cash can, you know, if you, like, sometimes people can be clumsy with it, you forget it and then you lose it. So if you don't want to carry like that currency around, gift cards work as well, because again, it ensures that you're going to be spending within your budget. Whoops. Okay. So getting into scams, okay, protecting yourself. Our digital footprint, okay, is really, really big. Okay, nowadays that just makes us so susceptible to identity theft, credit card fraud. Okay, our online security can easily be compromised. Okay, a lot of scams are going on right now. Okay, and I want to let you know, I'm going to teach you like how to protect yourself. Okay, so first off, under any circumstances, do not ever give out your information, any information, over the phone. Even if they're like, I need you to verify your name, don't even answer them. Okay, especially from strange numbers. Okay, it doesn't matter how legit their phone numbers look, it doesn't matter how legit they sound, okay, or how much information they already have on you. Okay, do not answer them. Okay, one time somebody came to me super distressed. Okay, she was a friend of a friend, and my friend asked me to help her because she was about to transfer $5,000 to a scammer via Bitcoin. Okay, she was like 22 years old. I think she just graduated. Okay, she was in tears at a gas station. Okay, because that place had like one of those Bitcoin machines. Okay, she was terrified. Okay, the scammer on the phone was super aggressive towards her. Okay, like she would hang up and then he'd call her back numerous times, threatened her with jail time because he told her she owed taxes to the government. So I asked her, I was on the phone with her, I was texting her. I was like, do you owe taxes? She's like, yeah. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Okay, I don't care how much money you owe the government, if you think you do or you don't. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, the CRA, okay, Canada Revenue Agency, the government will never yell at you. They will never intimidate you, and certainly not threaten you with jail time. Okay, if there is an issue, okay, I know a lot of students get audited. A lot of my roommates got audited. Okay, not a big deal. They will send you a snail mail. Okay, good old-fashioned snail mail. Okay, the CRA are people too. Okay, they're government workers. Their job is to make sure your taxes are filed correctly so everyone gets their payments. Okay, it's not to put people in jail. Okay, and they certainly absolutely will not be asking for payment in Bitcoin. Okay, they're the Canadian government. They want Canadian dollars. Okay, if you do owe money for taxes, okay, a lot of people owe money on taxes. That's okay. Okay, you just pay interest on it. Okay, even if you haven't filed your taxes, if you're behind on your taxes for like a couple of years, you're not going to go to jail for it. Okay, there's no jail time. Again, even if you do owe money and you can't pay it, you talk to them, you call them, they will help you work out a payment plan. You can pay in installments. Okay, they are never going to be like, you're going to go to jail. Okay, and that girl, okay, the reason why she was so convinced of that scammer was because she was saying how, you know, he knows all my information, where I live, my address, my name, probably account number or whatever. Like she like whatever he told her, okay, she was convinced that he was from the government because of the amount of information he had on her. Okay, yeah, our information is out there. However he got it, okay, it's irrelevant how much they know. Okay, let's face it, Facebook, Google, Apple, okay, they know our entire lives. Okay, that is the reality today. Okay, so I told her, call the cops. Okay, she did. And the cop told her, tell the scammer that she's already transferred the money. Okay, and that was that. He left her alone. That was it. Okay. So if you come across something like that, if someone's constantly harassing you, phoning you nonstop, and asking you for like payment in Bitcoin or whatever, okay, one, you can always ignore it. I've ignored so many of those calls. But two, if you were just a little bit afraid, call the cops, okay? Call 911, say it's a non-emergency call, and someone will tell you probably the same thing. Just tell the scammer on the phone, you already transferred the money. Okay, so keep that in mind. Huge lessons. That would have been like a $5,000 lesson for her. And again, anyone that asks you for any sort of Bitcoin payment, any sort of wacky cryptocurrency, okay, just, you know, that is a scam. Check your credit report, okay, at least once a year. Okay, that's how you make sure that everything's in check. You're not like, you know, a victim of identity theft. Okay, so sites like Borrowell provides free credit score and report as well. Okay, it's really important that you do that because, you know, people, this has happened before, people open up credit cards on behalf of like scammers open up credit cards on behalf of other people. Okay, they get scammed like that. They open credit cards on behalf of someone else's name. They max out their credit cards and they don't pay them back. Of course not, right? So that's stealing. And so you don't want to be a victim of identity theft or any sort of theft. Okay, it does complicate things, but it definitely will ruin your credit. So that's why you have to check your credit report at least once a year. Now, recently, I heard this a couple of days ago, so I wanted to share this with you. Okay, check your CRA account. And because what we're, you know, getting from the government through the stimulus program, people are collecting CERB or CESB. Okay, there's fraud. Okay, somebody applied. What happened was somebody was saying somehow another person applied for CERB under her CRA account, okay, had money diverted away from her bank account that was originally connected to her CRA account. Okay, so what happened was she talked to someone at CRA and said, yeah, well, you called the other day, you had your banking information changed, and then it looked like you went online and applied for CERB. Okay, she didn't. Okay, so that's $6,000 that kind of that got like $6,000 of government funding that is now under her name. She didn't apply for it, and of course, if she didn't catch that, okay, she would have to pay it back. Okay, so now she has to go through, you know, like call CRA and she has to find a way to fix it. And obviously, the first thing is to like talk to CRA, right? So it's pretty incredible that apparently someone pretended to be her on the phone, changed banking information, and then somehow logged into her account and applied for CERB under her name and had the funds deposited into another account. Okay, that is scary stuff, because that can be, that's very, certainly very costly. Okay, so that can be right now up to like $8,000, $2,000 roughly a month. Okay, it's a lot of money. So that's like, you always have to be aware of these things. Again, check your CRA account. Okay, and when in doubt, call your bank, institution that you're dealing with. If there's someone on the phone saying, I'm from, CIBC, I'm from BMO or whatever, okay, but you know what? I will call you back. Okay, you hang up, you go online, you go on to the official website, and you get the number from the official website. You don't hit redial. You don't dial the number that they called from, okay? When in doubt, call them directly and be like, hey, someone phoned me. I wanted to verify this. Okay, it is better to be skeptical than to be duped. Okay, because the even just to like reverse everything. Okay, it is a hassle and it's stressful. You don't want that. Okay, and what ends up happening if you end up being a victim of identity theft or identity fraud or any sort of theft like that, okay, where they open credit cards and loans under your name and it's not paid back, it affects your credit. Okay, so what is credit? Credit is a trust that you build with lenders. Okay, it's important because it affects so many areas in your life. Okay, so it's really important that you build up and maintain good credit. Okay, you need credit to get a cell phone plan. Okay, if you want to get a mortgage, a car loan, if you're leasing or renting, landlords will require a credit check. Okay, and then some employers will require a credit check. Okay, especially if you're working in, let's just say, finance, where you have to be, financially responsible. They want to make sure that you are trustworthy, that you are financially responsible enough. Okay, and of course, the more creditworthy you are, the higher the chance you'll be approved for a loan, okay, because they trust that you will pay them back, and the more favorable your interest rate will be, okay, and these interest costs can add up to so much money, especially when we're talking about mortgages, amortizations of like 25 plus years, and even car loans, okay, all these interest costs can add up to a lot of money, and of course, you would rather keep that money for yourself. So I know I said to avoid credit cards, to be, a little bit more specific when I talk about building, maintaining good credit. Okay, so to maintain good credit, to build credit, you want to pay your credit cards, your cell phone bills, internet bills on time. Okay, don't carry balances on your credit card. So when I say avoid credit cards, okay, you have to that's one way to build your credit. Okay, you need to be using a credit card. Okay, so if let's just say you have a really good habit of you buy something on credit and then you go home right away and you pay it off, that doesn't help build your credit. Okay, so even though it's great, right? Just make sure you don't carry it to the following month. Okay, so if you buy something on credit and you don't get charged interest right away. Okay, the following month after, if you don't pay off the balance, that's when interest costs will kick in. Okay, so to build credit, you have to make sure you pay your bills on time. Okay, everything from cell phones, internet, credit card, all of those things, you have to pay them on time. And using your credit card in a responsible way. Okay, being too responsible will not help you build credit, but just find that balance where you buy something, because it takes time for that transaction to process and sit on your your credit report. Okay, so main thing is don't carry the balances on your credit card. So in summary, live within your means. Okay, that is, don't spend more than you make. I know it sounds like very like obviously, people sometimes they can't, or sometimes they just like don't realize how much it is that they're spending. Okay, so that's why having a budget, looking at what it is that you're spending is really important. Okay, prioritize your essentials. If it comes down to you have significantly, if your income has significantly has been reduced, okay, prioritize your essentials. Okay, build good money habits. Okay, remember emo brain, logical brain, what's at work here. Don't get scammed. Okay, protect yourself and make sure that you build and maintain good credit. So that wraps up our presentation for tonight. Does anyone have any questions? So I've answered that. Answered that. You're welcome. Do I have any investment tips? Oh, that's like an entire discussion on its own, like a completely entirely different presentation I can do. Yes, I do have investing tips. So the best way to invest, okay, so I'll let you know what the best strategy is. Okay, it is to buy and hold. Okay, so I know people are like, a lot of questions, especially around now, they're like, oh, what stocks should I invest in? Is this a good time? Okay, so when I say buy and hold, that means that you are investing, you're putting money to work consistently, say on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, regardless of what is happening out there. Okay, I know there's a lot of things happening out there, but over time, okay, everything just works out. Okay, the markets have averaged around 8 to 10% per year over its entire history. Okay, so there's so many like options, trading strategies, and all these things, like timing the markets and all that stuff. Forget about that. If you just want like the bare minimum, like set it and forget it way to like easy way to invest, it is to invest consistently, like month after month. Like say the second paycheck that you get, you put it into your investments. Okay, so that is a strategy. It's really important to keep that in mind. And I'll throw in there, what else? So that's the strategy. And oh, for those that think, you know, like the stock markets are risky, is it going to go to zero? Okay, no. Like the stock markets have never ever gone to zero, ever, nor will it ever going forward unless something crazy happens like a zombie apocalypse. Okay, because the stock markets are made up of many companies across the board. Okay, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Netflix, Walmart, Disney, Oracle, RBC, like all the banks, airlines, everything. Okay, that's what the stock markets are. Okay, so unless every single one of those companies go bankrupt, okay, you're not gonna completely lose all of your money. Okay, so that's one of the most important things I always communicate to people that are starting to invest, because when you're investing, it's not about like getting in and getting out. It's usually people's strategy, and it's definitely people's emotions. Okay, emo brain is at work, and to help and for you to understand that no, it is impossible for this portfolio to go to zero. Okay, but that's of course investing in like the stock markets, like a broad range, like a mutual fund or an ETF. Okay, I'm not talking about individual stocks here. Okay, broad market investments, your money will not go to zero. So contrary to what some people have heard, oh, you know, the stock markets have gone to zero, people have lost all their money in the stock markets. No, okay, that is false. Okay, when you're investing, just like a lot of things in life, you are your own worst enemy. Okay, emo brain at work. Okay, so you have to have a strategy, a system in place to make sure that you do not cave to those emotions. So I'll leave it at that with investment tips. How long does it usually take to improve your credit score? Just recently paid off my credit card. Yes, but I was not in a good situation a couple of years. So I'm wondering how I can improve my credit score and how long will it take to improve? Okay, so definitely it does not, it's not an overnight thing. It takes time, right? So remember, it's, you know, you buy something, the transaction happens. And of course, if you pay it off right away, that doesn't improve your credit score. So credit takes time. So things like paying on time, making sure your capacity is not maxed out. So they say, I think it's called the utilization. So making sure you're utilizing all your credit that you have, it's less than 30%. So let's just say you have $10,000 worth of credit cards. You don't want to be carrying balances of over $3,000, because you're utilizing 30%, more than 30%. So credit utilization is important. So one of the things you can also do is, if you paid off a credit card, don't close it. Okay, just put it away in your drawer. Let it sit there, and that will help improve your credit. So you pay it off, that's great. Put it away. Don't use it. That will definitely improve your credit score. And even like, say maybe a couple months, you will start to see your credit score change. So with Borrowwell, I know I get notifications like every so often. It's like, oh, hey, your credit score improved, right? Maybe like 1 point or whatever, however many points. So Borrowwell will help you keep track of your credit score. Could you talk more about paying off student loan debts, tips or advice? Okay, so just like saving money, like if you want to prioritize paying off student debt, okay, you allocate more than the minimum that you have to pay. So when you graduate, you have to, let's just say you start paying back OSAP. They're going to be like, hey, this is amortized over, we're going to give you 7 years to pay this off. And every month it's gonna your payment is $100, let's just say, or $500. Okay. If you want to pay it off faster, you pay more than $500, because they're going to tell you you can pay it off in 7 years. If you want to stretch out to 7 years, that's cool. That's fine, right? Everyone's different, but I know a lot of you would want to get rid of that as quickly as possible. So instead of paying whatever it is that they tell you you should be paying, okay, pay more than that. Any sort of extra income that you earn, you can just start dumping towards your student debt. Okay. That includes if you want to earn extra income, you want to get a side hustle in addition to your full-time job. Okay. Like, these are good habits to have. You want to have multiple streams of income in your life. You can see now with a lot of people that are losing their jobs, like their primary source of income has been cut off. Okay. And it's very scary, especially when people don't have savings. Okay. Very stressful time. So being able to utilize your skills, taking advantage of online platforms, freelancing, all these things, all of this tech that's available to us to actually be able to start a business from home, to freelance work, help someone write a resume, help someone design a website. All these things are literally at your fingertips. Okay, we're so connected. We can see now working from home is a thing, right? You literally don't even have to step out of your house, and you can add another stream of income to your life. So I'm all for, side hustles, starting like being able to create income. Like I've been unemployed twice, so I totally get like the feeling of having that one income stream not available to you. So you give yourself that power to create another income stream. Investing is one of them. Okay, that's what I teach. But another one is the ability to create your own income through like freelance work. Even if you're like an extra in a movie, you can like do that. I did that too. Like I utilized some of the skills I've developed for like majority of my life. I play a lot of soccer. I got a soccer audition, and I think I got paid like $7,000 for that one gig, right? So, utilize what it is that you have, what you're good at, and try to help someone. Try to help someone with that. So those are some of my tips for, increasing your income. Because of course, if like, the more money you have, the more money you make, the faster you can pay down your student debt. So that's very that's one of the like big, huge differences you can make when it comes to debt, is increasing your income. Of course, you can like decrease your expenses as well. But I know that for a lot of us, you can only decrease your expenses so much before you start resenting yourself. Okay, because you want to live a good, healthy, well-balanced life, not resent yourself, not resent your life, not be super like, you don't want to be suffocating, right? Because these are habits, right? You have to live with this. These aren't like one and done, like I'm trying to lose 15 pounds in 1 week, so I'm going to be extreme like with myself. No, those aren't habits. Okay. That's unhealthy, right? So they're not sustainable. You want sustainable habits. So those are some of my tips for paying off student debts, or any debt for that matter. Does anyone have any questions? It's good timing. Okay, so like I said, I will I will circulate the workbook, the PDF, and an Excel worksheet for you to create your budget. So if there are no more questions, I am going to end this broadcast. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and be well. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous evening, everybody.